Hey guys, so this is Caffeine Gaming and this is Dark Souls. Let me bring you up to speed really quick here. So you can see I'm fighting the Bell Gargoyle here. This is the first, well this is actually the second time. The first time I didn't get a single hit in. He killed me in 2 swipes and I was down. It took less than 10 seconds. It was amazing. But yeah, I got to the point where I could fight the Bell Gargoyle, and I did this off screen because I was doing a little bit of practice. And the reason I was doing a little bit of practice is because we were going to try and summon somebody in. Unfortunately, this ended up happening instead. Yeah, we were invaded. I had, by freaking communism, summoned himself into my world and invaded me. So we ended up not actually bringing on a second player. I did manage to bring in Mr. Praise the Sun, which really helped with this battle. And believe it or not, some of the stuff that we've done, that I've done in game has really made this a lot easier. So I'll talk about that in a second, but I at least want to show off the battle because the battle itself only took about a minute and a half, I think, maybe tops, to defeat the Bell Gargoyle. Yeah, except for there are 2, and this was kind of, I didn't know this going in. I thought there was just going to be this one guy with the tail, and I was actually trying to cut his tail off. I didn't do a very good job of that. But yeah, there are 2 Bell Gargoyles that attack you ultimately. The tail, if you cut it off, gives you a weapon. I wasn't able to do that. Now, Solaire really helped. Unfortunately, some of the stuff that, if the reason I'm not rolling around is I'm still fat rolling a little bit, which we're going to be fixing here in a second, but Solaire actually takes care pretty much of, yeah, you can see him just totally owning that one Bell Gargoyle. And I take care of the second guy with him, and we won, and we got victory of that boss. And additionally, we got the Twin Humanities and a Sunlight Medal. So that was awesome. And then we climbed up top and we rang the first bell. So that has officially happened. I'm not entirely sure why we're doing this, in all honesty, but we're doing it. So we have gotten past the first hurdle, as far as I can tell anyway. Let's talk a little bit about what happened. First of all, my audio decided that it wasn't going to play through this portion. It was decided it didn't want to record. But you can see here that I'm up to level 25 and I'm doing pretty well. I'm focusing mostly on strength versus dexterity, which, well, I guess strength and dexterity. It looks a little weird on my screen. And putting some information, or putting some points into vitality as well. Big thing here is my endurance has now been raised. So the big problem as of right now is I'm still fat rolling. And it turns out that if your equipment load is 50% or higher, you're gonna fat roll. And that needs to be changed. But I did up my longsword. I have been improving my weapon. So it is now longsword +5, which is actually pretty good for right now. I upped my broadsword a little bit before I got the longsword, and I've upped my Morningstar because we're going to need that for like the skeletons. I found that that weapon in particular is really good against them. Broadsword does more damage ultimately. I do have a few other weapons. I'm not entirely sure why I have the broken straight sword right now. But I do have a light crossbow, and I did pick up the short bow last time. So because of what ended up happening in between for my audio on this, I'm actually doing later overlay of audio. So I apologize for that. It really sucks. But I'm going to walk you through what happened because had a little bit of fun doing this. So I'm just looking at the equipment load. So what I ended up doing was going all the way back to the merchant and actually picking up the chain mail armor. You can see there's chain leggings, chain armor, and chain helm. They're all they all weigh less than my armor for the night stuff. And the goal here is to do to lower my defense as least as I can while also lowering my load. So what I did is I went ahead and I purchased all the chain mail armor except for the leather gauntlets. We don't need those because those weigh 3.5 and that's the same as my current gauntlets.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm going to equip those
soon.
to the point where the equipment load is lowered, but my defense is lowered as little as I possibly can. Now, The chainmail, chain armor is just not good enough as far as I'm concerned with the amount of damage I've been taking. The chain leggings are okay. You can see the weight difference isn't a ton there, but it's a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch those, and then on top of it, you've got the chain helm, which also lowers our defense a little bit, but not as much as the actual armor itself. So you can see here that my equip load is 56, and yeah, see I'm still fat rolling, so I had to change my helm as well. So after that, once I finally got all of my armor worked out, I actually came to this little area. We've been here before, and there is a secret area that I wasn't able to get to originally. So what I did is I went ahead and climbed up here, and you can actually roll. You can see that little area, so if you go back, run, and jump onto there, you can actually access a little hidden area that you can't jump across the bridge, unfortunately. So if you head upstairs, there's actually an item outside that I picked up. And nothing too exciting here, just something, just a light crossbow. I already have one of those. Now, I wanted to face this guy, this big guy, and unfortunately it didn't get a backstab on him. And you can see here that I'm actually not fat rolling anymore. He's hiding an item that I really wanted to pick up. Ow. So what I did is I wanted to lead him up to this bigger area up here so that, well, that was a bad idea on my but you can see how much damage I'm doing against him. I'm actually doing a decent amount of damage against him. Unfortunately, not quick enough to get out of there, and he decides to continuously attack me even as I die. So yeah, I wandered back there again right after this, and I took a firebomb, and well, unfortunately, yeah, he's way out of range from there. But went ahead and hit him with that just to prove a point, I think, is more of something than to lead him back up. And you could have done that, I guess, with like any projectile weapon. So I guess like a throwing knife to get him to come up here, so I didn't have to be right behind him to not risk him hitting me in the face. And yes, he is completely blockable, so that was one thing that I found out that was really good. I'm gonna move away apparently and heal, which I don't blame myself for doing that. But yeah, since some of the enemies that are bigger, you can't actually block them, but since I was able to block him, I was really excited. Come on, you can do it. Come on, self. And I know what's gonna happen here. I know what I do here, but it's been a while since I watched this. That was poor choice of timing on that. Oh, and then I got stuck. You can't really tell, and this is, I'm panicking right now. And I luckily killed him, but when I look up, as you can see here, I was actually stuck between that barrier and the stairs. Yeah. Something else that somebody brought up, you can see that sparkly thing that just ran off? He's right there. That is a gem lizard. Yeah, they drop twinkling titanites and titanite shards. You need those for upgrading special armor and weapons. And yeah, so I didn't even know about these guys. I originally saw like a sparkly thing go into the wall, but I didn't know what it was. It's that. So then the other thing I did, and this is where things really get exciting. I went and used the basement key. This is right outside the dragon area. And I was just like, oh, I don't know what this is. And I decided to come out here. It's a really long ladder. And I wish I had done this earlier. Something died. I don't know what it was. Something fell somewhere, I have no doubt. And this leads you down here. It's obviously to the basement. Imminent beanpole. I was like, what the heck does that even mean? And then this little sign right here says shortcut ahead. So I was just like, ooh, yay. But if you go up here, I was looking to see if you can see any enemies. There are no enemies on this particular area. But yeah, if you remember this door, it was locked from the other side. So if you go through, yeah, we now have a shortcut to that area from the other area, which is actually really cool. I'm currently undead apparently, which is good because I can't get invaded because that's not anything good. So then this area leads down to a location that I hadn't been before. And the first thing that you notice, there's movement. Those are dogs. They cause bleed. apparently. And there are 3 of them. That one fell down, which is good. They're giving me some decent amount of souls. I didn't even realize how many souls I was getting from those guys. And the corpse piles, apparently the pigs can get stuck in those, so I thought that was pretty interesting. Apparently I decided to roll and the dogs came with me. Nothing I can destroy there, unfortunately. Just can destroy the carts, which that's good to know. There's 2 different ways to go. There's this way, which I love tight alleyways. Just love them, don't you? And then there's this way, and there's a bunch of closed doors that look like they could open. And this is one of the reasons why I was like walking up to them and whacking them. It's because they look suspicious. The ones that are wrapped up, and yeah, that happens. The door's open, and there's a few behind me, and I suddenly recognize that. These guys apparently are bandits. I called them thieves originally when I was actually playing this. And yes, they can jump on your back, and yeah, that guy just slit my throat. That's what that was, which is really not cool. And they also cause bleed. And they're not terribly strong, but they're really quick. And unfortunately for me, you all know where this is going. But they come out of these little rooms, and they always respawn. Luckily, next time that they respawn, the doors are actually open. We get the mail breaker there. It's not a bad weapon, nothing that I really want to use, but it uses the thrusting sword. Really good. It's not terribly heavy either, but yeah, it can be thrust using the weight of one's body and is very effective for critical attacks. So if you're looking for crits, that's not a bad little weapon to look at. But it doesn't weigh very much either. Unfortunately, if you can kind of see, my equip load is way too much with it on. Yeah, so I start fat rolling immediately, even with a 0.5 weapon. So we still need to up our equip load stuff and our endurance. So we'll definitely be doing that at a later point in time. Come down this direction. Here's a door that you can't open because it's blocked. Be wary of trap. Be wary of lying in ambush. Yeah, this is not even kidding. There's 3 guys and a dog. Sounds like a sitcom. One of the things is they do, I don't know if they're like hand crossbows or what they're using, but yeah, they switch between their daggers. And it looks like I was gonna do really well here, and then this guy decided to climb on top of me and slit my throat. Which really hurt. And unfortunately, he did it again. So if you even remotely turn your back to these guys, they will jump on you. So what I did after this, oh, there's another dog. That's nice. Didn't even realize that the other dog jumped at my dead body. As I immediately ran back, retrieved my souls. The doors are open already, so I kind of know what's happening. You can kind of see in the background that fog area is actually coming in, but went ahead and summoned the dog before I got the other guys, and then tried to aggro the enemies immediately. It didn't work quite well, but like I said, luckily they're not strong, and oh my goodness, yeah, they don't have to be behind you to do this, the throat slit attack. It just seems like it's easier for them to do. There's the other dog. Because I had it happen a couple times. And yeah, I can kill those guys with 1 hit, so... sorry about your troubles, buddy. I've been stuck in that barrel. So, with that, we pretty much killed all of the thief guys. And in this one, they actually get all of the black leather stuff. Which, I mean, it's okay. And, yeah. You also get a little shield for that. Nothing in particular that's better than what I have. Now, this apparently leads to a boss, from what I understand, but I ended up not fighting him. I wasn't entirely sure if that would be a good idea to do at this point. I'm trying to, especially with 5,000 souls right now, I wanted to head back and actually do some leveling up before jumping in, trying to get to a point where I'm doing, you know, not fat roll. Obviously I'm not fat rolling anymore, which is good, but also trying to get up there in level so that my guy's a little stronger and I'm doing a little better. Leveling up in this one's a little bit more difficult than, I've been playing 2 and I've been really impressed on, that's fine. It's just, that's not where you want to go. Anyway, eventually I figured out where the shortcut was, and yeah, I ended up leveling up, so I'm level 26 now. Ultimately, I think we did pretty well this episode, even though my audio decided it didn't want to happen. Unfortunately, something about my recording software, when if the signal feed for HDMI even remotely gives out, which actually happened at the beginning of this episode when I started recording, which you guys didn't see because I cut it out, but essentially what happens is, yeah, it immediately, it doesn't cut out my video, it ends up cutting off my audio, even if it flickers just like slightly, and ultimately what happened is my computer tried to update something and it switched, and that was a problem. So not cool. But so I apologize that this episode wasn't me actually reacting to everything, but just kind of doing going back and looking at what we had done. Definitely excited about getting invaded. Unfortunately, it looks like I won't be able to do any multiplayer in this one. It's just way too difficult to get someone to summon, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. So anyway, if you enjoyed this, let me know. Next time we'll be back to regular audio type stuff.